How about now? Someone say yes or no or put a thumbs up if you can hear me this time. Can't hear you. Still muted? Really? Weird. On my end, it says it's working. Strange. You can hear me now? Okay, good. Okay, good. Thank you guys for letting me know. I'm sorry that it was muted. I had the wrong selection for the microphone in the settings. Sorry about that. Thank you guys for letting me know. Thank you to you guys who are joining us now in the chat, in the live stream. Thank you guys again for the support on the channel. If you're new, make sure to subscribe and check out the channel for things that, for videos you might have missed. Hey, what's up, Ryan? Thank you for being here. Nice to see you. Good evening to you as well. So yeah, I was saying, but you guys couldn't hear me. We'll definitely get into this stuff that is, a lot of stuff is going on, right? So it's been pretty crazy since Zack Snyder's Justice League was released, and we'll definitely get into all of that, the New God stuff, the concept art with Green Lantern and all of that, the We Live in a Society, all of that stuff. So before we get started, let me not forget to remind you guys that if you're interested, the link for my merch is in the description below. You can check out that stuff if you are interested. I've been trying to make a new design that I've been wanting to add, but I'm having trouble making it the right size. So I'm trying to work on that. So I apologize. I haven't uploaded new designs in a while. But in case you are interested, the link for that is in the description, okay? So again, thank you guys for all that support. Let's see if this will work. This chat overlay. Oh, okay, I see. Just wanted to see how that looked because I haven't tried that yet. Just wanted to see how it looks really quick. What's up, Leroy? Nice to see you. Is there a way to sue Warner Brothers for lack of confidence or something? Yeah, that would be, yeah. I mean, I know, lack of confidence. I would also say like false advertisement. Their plans are not going to work. Yeah, we'll get into all of that. So, what's up, Thiago? One of the first things that I think is we should probably get into, because it's been causing a lot of conversation, is the New Gods and the Trench topic. So we know that, there, let me share the screen. There was a article that came out from the Hollywood Reporter, Ava DuVernay's New Gods, James Wan, The Trench DC movies not moving forward at Warner Brothers. Unfortunately, I don't think a lot of us were surprised by this because, first of all, when The Trench was announced, it was like pretty soon after the first Aquaman movie. And I think it was kind of split. Like some people were like, oh, that's pretty cool because that one scene in Aquaman is pretty awesome. But it's like, then other people were kind of like, well, I don't know if people are going to care about that. Personally, I think I would have been, kind of interested to see what James Wan wanted to do with that. But at the same time, I wonder, like, how much story could they really dive into? You know what I mean? Like, to make a whole movie about it. But I don't know what he had in mind. So I guess we won't know unless he decides to share something down the line of like what he was planning on doing or something like that. So I don't know if we'll ever find out really what he was going to do with that. But this is the article that came out the other day. Actually, it was yesterday, about these movies being canceled. It says here, as part of our DC slate, some legacy development titles, including New Gods and The Trench, will not be moving forward. We thank our partners Ava DuVernay, Tom King, James Wan, and Peter Safran for their time and collaboration during this process and look forward to our continued partnership with them on other DC stories. The projects will remain in their skillful hands if they were to move forward in the future. So it still says that, if they decide to bring those movies back into, like, oh, we are gonna make those movies, it would still be with Ava DuVernay and James Wan. James Wan would have made it work, in my opinion. He's a great director, says Dan. Yeah, I do think that he did a great job with the Aquaman movie. Let me get that ad out of the way. It's kind of annoying. And he does have he does horror movies. So it seemed like, that's kind of the direction that he would have taken. He would have went with, a Trench movie. Good evening. Let's see. South Cali guy. Thanks for being here. Hello, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Hello, Ms. Hive. Hope everyone has a good day. DC news seems like it's coming from everywhere these days. Restore Snyderverse looks promising and eminently on its way. Yeah, thank you for that positivity. I can agree with that. What's up, Lloyd? Hey, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for asking. Thank you for being here. Tiago, hopefully you're right. Yeah. Let's see. Hello, guy. Oh, Tiago said hello. Okay, awesome. So, yeah, let's see what else they had to say. I think most of us are kind of familiar with what was said. The terror of the deep and the fire of apocalypse won't be felt anytime soon. We already read that. All right. So, New Gods, which Ava DuVernay has been developing as a directing vehicle with acclaimed comic book writer Tom King since 2018, would have brought to the screen the comic book characters created by the late and legendary, Jack Kirby. DuVernay, however, remains in the DC fold and is currently working on the DC series Naomi for the CW. That's what the series was. I was trying to remember what series she got attached to, because I remember when that announcement came out, everyone was kind of like, well, I guess the New Gods movie isn't happening because when is she going to have time to make that movie if she's doing this series, right? So, yeah, Naomi, that's right. I don't know what that series is going to be about. I'm not familiar with that character. So it kind of just goes on to describe what The Trench would have been, horror tinge project, which is kind of what we were talking about a second ago. Let's see. DC is currently building an interconnected slate in which projects will feed in and out of the big screen and the small, with films such as James Gunn's Suicide Squad spinning off into the John Cena-led HBO Max series Peacemaker, Matt Reeves' The Batman spawning its own Gotham Police Department focused show. I've talked about this before, and it's not to hate on anything like that, but I really don't know if people are going to care much about a Gotham PD show if Batman is not involved somehow. What's other DuVernay project could name some OG them? Anthony. I'm not sure what the question is. Hey, Anthony, what's up, Anthony? Oh, you're replying to Anthony. I'm sorry. I do know Ava DuVernay will be doing. Yes. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, the Gotham PD show. I don't know how many people are going to care about that if Batman or Bruce is not involved. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of just going to be like a Gotham Law and Order type of show, and I don't think people are going to be that into that unless they really. I mean, that's just my opinion. I know we haven't seen what they have to offer with it yet, but and then Peacemaker. I mean, ugh, I don't know. Like, I don't understand why that would be the first spin-off show that we get from a DC movie. Yeah, I don't really understand that. Ava DuVernay was kind of tweeting about it yesterday. She wrote to Tom King, "I loved writing New Gods with you." So they announced New Gods quite a while ago too, publicly, which means by the time announcements come out to the public, that means it's already been going on behind the scenes for a while. So, and then it mentions here the Batman is set on Earth 2, so that's how they're separating that. What is it? Where does it say? Right here. New Gods, which would have been a sprawling tale, was complicated by the fact that its villain, Darkseid, just appeared as a major foil in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and there was a desire to have space between the latter and any new appearances. I think that's what really set off a lot of people yesterday when this came out, because I feel like, okay, first of all, when the theatrical version of Justice League came out, from that time until now, they had a lot of time to make this movie and release it, New Gods. So they could have done that, A, because we didn't get Darkseid or even Desaad in the theatrical version of Justice League. Also, so that's one thing. They had time to do that before the Snyder Cut was even a possibility. The Snyder Cut didn't become a possibility until like a year ago. So they had plenty of time to do that. It could have been done before Eternals, exactly. So they had all that time from the time they announced the New Gods movie to put it out there. Also, now that Zack Snyder's Justice League is out and people are responding positively, not just to the movie, but to Darkseid specifically. And it's not just the Snyder fans. It's like so many people outside of that now. Based on the response that the movie is getting, that should be like, moving ahead with the New Gods movie is the right thing to do, because people are responding to these characters, this world of apocalypse. They want to see more. They like the people that were cast in these roles. So let's continue with that. They're kind of taking the opposite approach, I think, that, any other studio would. Marvel definitely would not do that. Marvel would not do that. If they see the response they're getting to certain characters or certain, characters that are introduced that are supposed to get their own movie, and it's a positive response, they're not going to go and cancel the movie that they announced several years ago that involve those characters, that it's center around those characters. That just wouldn't happen. Any other studio would not do that. And then they're like placing the blame on Zack when his movie wasn't even going to come out ever until HBO Max said yes. So it's really weird. It doesn't make any sense. Their explanation doesn't make sense. I think it's just an excuse because, I feel like they're upset. They're mad that they were probably going to go in a different direction or use someone else as Darkseid or these other characters. But then they're seeing that people are loving the Snyder Cut. They're loving Ray Porter as Darkseid. And not to mention Kieran Hines as Steppenwolf and Peter Guinness as Desaad. Like, most people love all of those characters, but, people have high expectations for Darkseid and people are loving him, loving Ray Porter. So I feel like Warner Bros. Is kind of like, well, damn it, like, people love what Zack did, so now we can't do our own thing because we're going to lose, and people are going to want what he did instead of what we're going to do. Instead of just continuing and, continuing down the path that people are responding to, they're just like, no, forget it, we're not going to do it at all. it's a very weird thing. um, yeah, it's really weird. One positive thing I could think that this could possibly mean is that maybe HBO Max or AT&T, maybe they're like, we want to continue with what Zack introduced in the Snyder Cut. We want to continue down that path on HBO Max in some way, shape, or form. Hey, what's up, Kiki Sphincter? So that's the only thing I could think of that could be a positive to all of this. Now, last night, Zack Snyder did share on Twitter these concept art pictures of Granny Goodness. All right. So he shared this on Vero, sorry. Granny, oh my goodness. Thank you to Jojo for the design. And Jojo he's the concept artist. And so, you know, she looks awesome. I mean, the concept art is beautiful. The armor is beautiful. She's not, I said this in my video today, she's not the Granny Goodness, that weird, I don't know, Granny Goodness has always been creepy to me, like the way she looks and sounds. Just a weird, she's just like a character, you know, when you see her and hear her and you're kind of like, oh, whoa. She kind of creeps me out. But here, you know, she's like this seasoned warrior looking type of character. Yeah, she's what's up, Ryan? Sorry you're late. No worries. It's only been about 16 minutes and I was muted for the first like 2 anyway, so don't worry about it. Yeah, she looks very different here. She looks more like a warrior. She still has, of course, the gray hair and the kind of aged face, but she doesn't have like that creepy weird look that she does, you know, in the I think this works a lot better for a live action compared to like how you see her in the comics and the animated stuff. So here's Jojo Aguilar, the concept artist that Zack was referring to in this post, and he went ahead and shared more concept art for Zack Snyder's Justice League. I really like what he had to say. He said, "This was the best experience of my career working with Zack Snyder. I've worked a long time, and by far he was the most professional, most reasonable, and coolest, most personable and coolest. Thanks, Jay Oliva, for introducing me to him." People always have nothing but good things to say about Zack when working with him, and so I'm not surprised by that at all. So here's the Granny Goodness one that Zack shared, and then the Green Lantern one is what really got people talking, because we know Zack wanted to have Jon Stewart in his movie. And not only did he want to have him in his movie, but he filmed that final scene with him. Spoiler alert, the final scene with him that Martian Manhunter is in when he goes to see Bruce. He filmed that in his backyard, even though the studio was like, no, you cannot film that. He did anyway, and still put it in what he showed them before the movie came out. He showed it to them, and they're like, you know, Zack kind of described how they butt heads about that. And, you know, he was forced to take it out because they were like, oh, well, we have plans for Jon Stewart. And he's like, when? Which is, I think, what we're all thinking. That's what is going through all of our minds when we're like, okay, when are you going to do what you're talking about? You know, here you are canceling movies after your biggest project was just released and it's getting a huge worldwide applause, but you're canceling stuff. This is the time to be making announcements for stuff that has been greenlit, not stuff that's being canceled. You know, it's really strange. So there's the Green Lantern Jon Stewart concept art, which is also beautiful. Has these different, you know, this kind of looks more, the textures, you know, more metallic. Just awesome, right? Awesome. There's the Martian Manhunter concept art, which he basically looks like that in the movie for the most part. And then the Joker, he looks different, but it's still pretty cool concept art. You know, it's always neat to see like stuff that the concept artist worked on, you know, different versions and stuff like that. Can you zoom in? I don't think I can. That's as big as, I mean, on my tab, my Twitter tab, it's like full screen. I can try to do this. Let me see. I can zoom in like that. Oh, I went back out. It zoomed out. I tried to zoom in. Oh, now it's going back. It's kind of delayed the way it's zooming in and out. Sorry about that. So yeah, really cool concept art. And then when when this came out, I mean, ever since Zack kind of came out and said that he filmed the Green Lantern scene with Martian Manhunter and Bruce, everyone's also, I mean, of course, the big question becomes, who played him? So then this started coming out last night. This guy here, where's the other picture of him? That guy right there, Wayne Carr. I don't know. I don't think it's been confirmed in any way. Let me just go to that one. Wayne Carr is being rumored to be the person who Zack Snyder cast as Green Lantern, as John Stewart. This gentleman here. I don't think it's been confirmed or denied in any way. I mean, I see the resemblance between him and the concept art, so I don't know if that's what people are basing it off of or what. But of course, when people go dig, you know, they found this picture also popped up of him with Ray Fisher. And, you know, I guess they're both stage performer, you know, stage actors. And so, you know, I don't know if that's how they know each other, if they knew each other before. There was a guy in the middle. For some reason, they edited him out in that one, but there's another picture of all three of them together. I don't know if that's who it was supposed to be, but, you know, I do think that whoever it was, people would embrace, for the most part, the fan base would embrace him, just like they did for Ray Porter when we found out that he was the one who was cast as Darkseid. So I think it will be probably still some time before Zack either confirms or denies. I think he'd be quicker to deny a person that was cast in a role than confirm it. I think it will be a while before he tells us who he cast as Green Lantern, but this is the person who people are saying right now. I don't know, like I said, I don't really know where he originated from as far as being the rumored person besides the concept art. I don't know if people were just looking around. I don't know, like, oh, he looks like this guy, so it must be him. I don't know. I really don't know. But speaking of, here, let me unshare this and then reshare it so I can share the sound really quickly. Speaking of that Green Lantern and Martian Manhunter scene, in a recent interview, Harry Lennox kind of, I think, accidentally said something that maybe like we didn't know. So I'll get to that in just a second, but let me check the chat really quick. Let's see. Ms. Hive, there is a fan theory about Carrie Kelly in the Snyderverse. What is the fan theory? Is there a fan theory about like who she is? Because Zack did mention that she would be the next one. Oh, he and Ray Fisher are friends. Oh, cool. Okay. Zack did say that she would be the next one to, you know, be Bruce's, you know, since Robin died, Carrie's the next one that he would use. Let's see. So yeah, Harry Lennox in this recent interview, he kind of let something slip out about that scene that he was in at the end with Martian Manhunter and Bruce. But let me share the audio so we can all hear it and we can listen to it really quickly. Oh, wait. Let me mute that. Okay. All right, so let me go here, right here. Okay. It was actually with Kirsten Acuna from Insider. I was on the Nicotina show. I got to chat with her on there. And she mentioned that she got to speak with Harry Lennox, and they had a nice, good conversation.
The character, even though I knew not.
Where's the volume thing? Okay.
And I'm a huge fan of Zack. So this is, you know, this is something I hope gets some more momentum behind
this
idea that maybe he could even, you know, dare we hope, finish his vision for this, for you know, for this this narrative that he's got in his head. I think it is worthy of the time and resource. I think that this film, this version, will get the love that it deserves. I think it changes the game in many ways. And so who knows? I don't think this is the end of the story. I'll put it that way. because I'm a big fan.
Wait, is this the one where he says it?
The character, even though I knew not much about him, and I'm a huge fan of Zack. So this is this is something I hope gets some more momentum behind it. This idea that maybe he could even, dare we hope, finish his vision for this, for this narrative that he's got in his head. I think it is worthy of the time and resource. I think that this film, this version, will get the love that it deserves. I think it changes the game in many ways. And so who knows? I don't think this is the end of the story. I'll put it.
Okay, that was the wrong one. I was trying to find the one where he let it, maybe it was with the light cast. Yeah, the one that you're mentioning, 1984 Godson. Yeah, it is the wrong one. I'm sorry about that. The one where, which one is it? Where he accidentally kind of slips out by saying that he filmed that scene with Green Lantern. Maybe it was from the light cast. Was it from light cast? Someone tell me. I think it was from that one where Harry Lennox kind of accidentally lets it slip out that, well, I don't know if it was an accident. The one with light cast is after. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He mentioned that he filmed the scene with Green Lantern, that they were both in it together. I do think it was on the light cast one, but I'm not going to be able to find what part it's in. Because I don't know how far into the interview it was. But he did say that on the Lightcast interview recently that they filmed that together. And then, they weren't on set together. He said that, kind of when he was leaving or when one of them was leaving, the other one was showing up. And I think it had to do with since they were shooting that Nightmare stuff and the Martian Manhunter thing with Bruce, since they shot that stuff during all the COVID things, they had to limit how many people were on set at a time. And so, hi, Gabriel, what's up? Nice to see you. Thanks for being here. So same thing with like Bruce and Joker. Sorry. They also were not, Deathstroke was there with Batman, Joe Manganiello, and Ben Affleck were on set together, but Jared Leto was not there with them because of the COVID restrictions. They can only have stuff on certain things, certain number of people. And so, but he did say that they were both supposed to be in that scene. And we ended up with Martian Manhunter, which is, I was happy for, but it would have been, imagine how people would have lost their minds to see Green Lantern also in that scene. Wow. And just to know that Zack actually cast, he got a person that he wanted to play the role. I wonder, even though the studio was like, no, you're not filming that, you're not using that character, blah, blah, blah. I wonder if he's like, well, maybe if I cast a person and film it, maybe they'll change their mind. Maybe that was his thought process. They rejected it. Yep, they reject everything. And then they want to make it seem like it's because they have plans when they really don't, obviously. Ryan says, Ali, what was your favorite scene in Zack Snyder's Justice League? Every time that question comes up, it's really hard because, obviously I don't just have one favorite scene because there's so many, the whole entire movie, I love it so much. But I would say the scene that really gets me, fired up every time and, emotional, I just love, is when Flash is reversing time to save the League when they fail. Beginning to end, that sequence is just so amazing. The track that Junkie XL made for that scene, the visuals, Flash's dialogue, just the way he uses the Speed Force, everything about it. I just love it. Love it so much. I see some people talking about the Carrie Kelly. I've seen people talk about that too. The girl with the red hair in the bus in the Nightmare scene in BVS. I've seen people theorize about that too. I don't know if they theorize that just because she has red hair and she's like a female character and she's alive in the apocalypse, this post-apocalyptic world. I don't really know where that originated from. If it's people just kind of predicting things, I'm not sure, but that'd be pretty cool though. Let's see. I think someone asked earlier if I'd be watching Godzilla vs. Kong. I did watch it. I watched it the day it came out. I watched it on HBO Max. It was what I expected from it. It was entertaining. It was good. It had action. It was everything I expected from that style of a movie. It was good. It was good. Let's see. Hamada has no plans. I think he doesn't even know. That's the thing. Is like the sad thing is that DC. If you want to compare DC and Marvel, since it seems like they're trying to do the Marvel thing, which is not going to work for them. DC has as much. I mean, I enjoy Marvel movies. I do. They know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like they stick to what they're going to do. Of course, every studio has stuff that goes on behind the scenes that we're not going to know about. But like they have come up with a rhythm that works for them and they are good at what they do. And that's why Zack praised them. That's why Zack and Ben Affleck praised Kevin Feige, because they know what they're doing with their characters, with their universe. They listen to anyway, they know what they're doing, okay? And they're good at it. One of the sad things is that, character-wise and like story-wise, DC has superior characters, in my opinion. And also stories that they could, do. There's so many, but they're not utilizing them. They're not tapping into that potential in a way that they could be. Instead, they're canceling stuff right after people respond positively to characters that would have a whole movie about them. It's really weird. They're very determined to like be right. You know what I mean? Like they know that Zack Snyder's Justice League proved them wrong as a studio. And yes, I know Ann Sarnoff was not there when Justice League came out in theaters. I know Walter Hamada was at New Line. I know he was not there. But when they got into those positions, they could have done the right thing. There's still some people who are around. Toby Emmerich is still there. There's still some people probably there that we don't really know about as much name-wise. But they know that regardless of who was in charge at the time, it still represents them as a studio and as a company. And so they're so determined to be right. Of course, they want to save their jobs. They know how wrong they look because the Snyder Cut is out now. And it's not just the Snyder fans who are responding to it. It's people that are in entertainment, in Hollywood, in sports, in media, people with large audiences of people that are responding to this. And, Joe Manganiello, he hopped on board, restored the Snyder Cut. So did, what's his name? Chris Nolan's production, Syncope. I don't know how to say it, Syncope. They tweeted, restore the Snyderverse today. So there's other people in filmmaking that are supporting it. It's just, they are seeing that they're looking like they are wrong. And I think they're scared that, this is going to continue. And it's not toxic fans. It's people that are like disappointed and shocked by how they are responding or lack thereof to what people are like, oh my God, we want more of this, And so it makes them look wrong and makes them look like they made a huge mistake, $100 million mistake by, funding reshoots for the theatrical version of Justice League. And I don't think they know what to do besides say like, oh, look at our shows and our movies are going to be more connected. And like, we're going to do the multiverse, but we're not. And it's just a mess. It's a mess. I do feel like, and I do hope that there is more going on behind the scenes between Zack and HBO Max, or between Zack and AT&T. There's no way AT&T can ignore the success that this movie has been. Plus, they funded it, so they want it to be a success. AT&T funded this movie. They're not going to want it to fail. And they're going to want to know how people are responding to it, because they're the ones, HBO Max said yes to it. And so they're the ones who really want to know. So, yeah. Let me see. Nolan wants the Snyderverse. He's one of, yeah, he definitely does. And in that Vanity Fair article that came out that like really went into depth about a lot of information, it said in there that Christopher Nolan was a major influence on getting this movie released. We know he's an executive producer. He brought Zack and Deborah on for Man of Steel, BVS. Like, he's heavily, heavily involved. And so he, and he's a major supporter of Zack. So yeah, he was definitely an important role. He played a very important role in getting this movie out, and I'm sure he would want it to continue. It wasn't Warner Media. Are you talking about that funded the movie? No, AT&T. I was told personally, directly by someone with that's privy to information. AT&T paid for Zack Snyder's Justice League to be finished and released. So they're the ones who are going to want it to, they're in charge. And Ann Sarnoff can say whatever she wants, but she's not going to be able to make the final decision on this. And plus, it wasn't Warner Brothers who put it out. It was HBO Max. Yeah, they're both under like the Warner Media umbrella, but they're still separate. I do hope there's discussions going on between them behind the scenes that we don't know about. Zack has been pretty low, has kind of like laid low. After the movie came out, yeah, he was doing like a lot of, press interviews and stuff like that with the bigger trades. But he's been pretty, he's been a little bit less involved and less vocal, I think, than before the movie came out. So hopefully, there's probably stuff going on between them that we don't know about. There has to be, because like one way or the other, HBO Max, AT&T, Jason Keeler, they're going to respond to him one way or the other. So there has to be stuff like that going on. Also, speaking of light cast, Taylor Murphy was saying like, yes, there is discussions going on behind the scenes. Don't give up on this. Don't cancel your HBO Max subscriptions. Like, even Zack said that too. Like, watch the movie, keep your subscriptions. They see what's going on, just like they saw what was going on with the 2019 release of Snyder Cut. They see what's going on. You can't not see it. You know what I mean? So they know, they see it. Thank you. Oh, Ryan said, thank you. Many people don't realize that. Yeah, I didn't either. So yes, AT&T paid for it. Let's see. Nolan should stay on and let Zack finish his arc. Nolan would keep WB anyway. I think if they decide to move forward with Zack's stuff being on HBO Max, I think that Nolan will definitely support him for sure. I don't see why he wouldn't. He definitely will. Thank you, John C. Nelson, for the super chat. I appreciate it so much. I don't agree with you on the Snyderverse, but I love your passion. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for being honest, and thank you for the super chat. Thank you for your support. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, so, if we can still support each other in that way, for sure. So thank you so much. Let's see. A lot going on. Yeah, definitely. The whole story is interesting. It is. There's always a lot going on. And I think the fact that the studio knows that like us fans have access because we're online and all of that, and we see what's going on. Of course, there's stuff we don't know about, but like the stuff that we do see publicly, I think it kind of scares them that we're so involved with it. It's not how it used to be. And I do think that AT&T, Warner Media, like, streaming is, becoming the future. And not that cinema should die or anything like that, but it is playing a huge role in how people consume entertainment and media. And so if they want HBO Max is not going to compete with Netflix. Let's just be honest. Okay. They could compete maybe with, I think Disney Plus would be their competitor. Or maybe Hulu, but I don't know. Hulu's probably still more up there. But Netflix for sure is the big dog as far as streaming, right? We know that. But if they want it to be successful, they can't deny what Zack Snyder's Justice League has done for their app. #1 in the Google Play Store, and I think it was also #1 on Apple iTunes. So, we saw those numbers that came out. They can't deny that. They cannot deny that. All right. The pic of Granny Goodness Zach posted was real low profile. Yeah. Well, besides that, he hasn't really. I don't see that as a coincidence. Like, obviously, he put that out there last night because of the New Gods cancellation announcement. But besides that, he hasn't really been as vocal about things recently. So that's what I meant. But yeah, I know. I see what you're saying. Let's see. Let's take a question. Do you think Wonder Woman will become the new God of War in the Nightmare timeline? Interesting. I know on those storyboards that are at the exhibit at the AT&T building in Dallas, she uses the lasso of truth on herself, and she sees her, like, she has the Ares helmet on and everything. She sees herself as the God of War. But Zack said that, like, in broad strokes, those storyboards are still kind of accurate now. However, it has evolved a lot. Those storyboards have. That's why he said they're not spoilers, because they've evolved a lot based on what the movie became, Zack Snyder's Justice League. So, but the third storyboard he talked about that he said he will not share, that's the stuff that would be considered spoilery if it were to get out, which is why he's not going to share it. And I think that that's very telling, because I think that he's holding on to the possibility that they may continue his universe. So that's why he's not going to share those. But I do think it would be really interesting and cool to see her like that, even if it's just in, like, a vision. Like, if she uses the lasso of truth on herself and she sees that, that'd be pretty awesome to see. Let's take another question. Did you know the budget for WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier was $375 million, and they're investing much more? WB saying HBO Max want to compete with Disney Plus without spending money. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know why the brightness is going in and out. The budget for WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier are very high. They're like movie budgets. I was also told that personally too. They're willing to invest that much because, they have faith in those series. Even though I think for a lot of people, WandaVision was kind of anticlimactic at the end of the series. I think Marvel has reached a point where they're kind of like, it's okay, the next thing is starting. Like, don't worry about it. We have something else coming for you. But they do have very large budgets. You can tell by the production and everything that their budgets are very high for those TV shows. And, they're willing to put that into their stuff, into their projects. Warner Brothers, I don't know what they're doing. I heard Zack changed the scripts. Well, yeah, a lot of stuff has changed, like he said. Because the stuff was based on, like, a long time ago, like years and years ago, right? So a lot has changed since then, because Justice League changed over time. What the movie ended up turning into, was not exactly what it started out as. So, scripts and things like that, they change over time. From the time they first do they do their first treatment or whatever until the movie comes out, a lot changes. And so that's why he's like, yeah, look at the storyboards that came out. They're not, he chose to put them in that display. They're not spoilers, but the one that he said he will not share, that would be spoilers. So, yeah. Let's see. Go back up. Yeah, and I think that based on the success of the Snyder Cut so far, they're going to have to be willing to invest money to continue. They can't, with anything that they want to put on there, they're going to have to invest money into it. And so if they see something as valuable as this, they should be willing to invest money into it, because it's valuable. They're going to keep subscribers. They're going to gain new subscribers. It's going to, you know what I mean? They have to do that. There's no way they can't. I mean, with anything, they have to invest money into it. So they should be more than, and I think it'd be better if they, let's say they continue Zack Snyder's Justice League as like, a sequel or whatever. I think whatever they do, it should be like a series. I think it'd work better that way. Zack wanted this movie to be a series, but I think some of the endings, I don't know where they planned on ending each episode, but some of the endings could have possibly been like strange because it wasn't shot as a series. It was shot as a movie. So if they film something as a series, then, they could have those endings and stuff like that are like, cliffhangers, leave you like wanting to watch the next one next week or whatever. I think that's what would make them the most competitive against Disney Plus, because that's what Marvel's doing right now. They're doing series. And if you look at series like Game of Thrones and those like that level, those are like cinema level. That's like a cinema level series. It's like a movie, and they pretty much had like movie level budgets for that show or more. So I think if they recognize the value in it, they should be willing to put money into it. I hope that's what we end up getting. I really do. And I hope we end up getting, Ben Affleck's Batman with Deathstroke. If they want to do a Batman project, that's what they should be doing. Not Gotham PD. Sorry. Let's see. How much do you think would be the cost to finish? Oh, God. I don't even think I'd be able to estimate that. I guess it would depend on if they wanted to do it as movies or series. Like, say they wanted to do Justice League 2 as a movie, but not 4 hours. Like, I don't think it's necessary. If they do it as a movie, I don't think it's necessary for it to be 4 hours like the Snyder Cut was. That was a very special situation. I really don't know. But I do think that they would have to be willing to give him a pretty healthy budget if they really want it to be as good as the Snyder Cut. You know what I mean? So, yeah, investing money into Blue Beetle and Batgirl instead of Snyderverse is weird. I don't think it's good for business. I respect those characters, but come on. Yeah, it seems like ever since the film was released, we have like all these different news things every day coming out about DC because Warner Brothers is like wanting to take the attention off of Zack Snyder's Justice League, and it's not really working. Like, we see those things, but it's not like taking our attention away from how much we love the movie and how much we want to support it and show our support for it. Super fan. Remember me? My name is changed now. Oh, okay. You changed your name. Awesome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for letting me know. Just give Zack 400 million and shoot Justice League 2 and 3 back to back. Yeah, I do think that's what they would have to do. If they decided to make a part 2 and a part 3, I think they would have to shoot it back to back. That's really the best thing to do. Kind of like how Endgame and Infinity War and Endgame were shot like together. I think that's what they would have to do, especially because like it's easier for them. They have all the cast together. It's just better to do it that way instead of waiting another like couple of years to shoot the next one. But I think a series, I think Zack would also like that too, because it allows him to he's a storyteller. That's why his movies are usually pretty long. He likes to tell the story. He likes things to breathe. He likes things to take their time. He doesn't like to rush through it. And for a streaming service, a series is very beneficial. It's not just like, okay, we put it out here and people are going to talk about it and, it's just out there and it's a one and no. It's like a series keeps people around, and it keeps people talking about it because every week there's something to talk about. So I do think a series would be a really good option. So I do think it would be a good option if they continue with it. And definitely for Batman and Deathstroke, like a series would be awesome because it would really give them a chance to like tell Deathstroke's story and see his origin and like understand why he wants to destroy Batman's life. I think a series would be a great option for the Batfleck and Deathstroke thing. What's up, C0? Nice to see you here. Thanks for being here. If you guys are just joining us, thank you for being here. Don't forget to check out the links in the description. And if you're new, hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure the notification bell is turned on so that way you know when I'm doing a live stream or posting a new video. And leave a thumbs up. Let's see. Another thing I think people have, this is what I was about to say too. Matt Reeves used the ILM visual effects technology on Batman, which they used on Mandalorian. Yes, exactly. I really do hope that that's something. I didn't know Matt Reeves used that. Awesome. I do think that that's something that they should really consider, not just with DC, but like all this other stuff that they do for, I mean, anything that's like pretty much anything you need green screens and stuff for nowadays. That technology is such a game changer. Like, they should really consider using those instead of green screens. Like, they pretty much just create this world on these screens instead of using the green screen and then going in and like, it's awesome. The technology that they use for that is amazing. So yes, I agree. They should definitely use that for sure. Thank you, Electric. Let me see. Electric DD88. Thank you for the support and thank you for being here during the live stream. It's nice to have you here. That technology is pretty awesome. If you haven't seen it, which I think most people are aware of it now, but if you haven't seen, like, go on YouTube and look up like the ILM visual effects stuff. And there's like a cool video explaining and showing how they use these screens to film The Mandalorian. And it's really awesome. It's really cool. The Hamadaverse is already a failure. Yeah, it's really weird. It's strange that like Warner Brothers wants to like have this competition with Zack and his stuff. Just like Zack said, you know, you cast your guy, I'll cast mine, when he was talking about Jon Stewart. Since they have these plans for him that they haven't released. What have they released since theatrical version of Justice League came out? Besides Aquaman, because Aquaman was, came out soon after. What have they released? Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman 84. Neither of those movies did very well. And Wonder Woman 84, it wasn't only because it came out during a pandemic with a bunch of theaters closed down. No, the response to it was not great. And on paper, I think that they expected that it would be a better response because it was more lighthearted, and all of that. But it didn't get the response. Did not. So the movie, what have they done? They haven't done anything with Green Lantern Jon Stewart. Okay, they announced a Green Lantern Corps show, but it didn't seem like Jon Stewart was going to even be involved in that show. They just want to say that because they don't want him to put his stuff out, do what he wants to do, and then people love it and prefer it. You know what I mean? Yeah, so. Yeah, Ready the Armada. Yeah, everyone is using that Anne Sarnoff, when she came out in that Variety article, she started a war. And I don't mean that in like, be negative and be toxic and be annoying. No. Don't they understand that like the fans are not going to let this go? Oh, cool. Lightcast sent me thanks for the link, Lightcast. They sent me the link to their interview with Harry Lennox when he's talking about shooting that scene with Green Lantern and everything. Shouts out to them. So, hopefully the Green Lantern show is good. Like, hopefully it's good, but I don't think it's fair. Just like Zack said, well, you cast your guy, I cast mine. We'll see who fans respond to. And that's fine. Like, if they're going to do the multiverse, then they should just do that. I saw this tweet earlier, and it's exactly what I think people are missing about. It explains what people don't understand about, like, when people want, the fans who want to restore the Snyderverse. It says, don't blame the Snyder Cut for the death of the New Gods film. All Snyder did was show Darkseid the way he wanted to in 2017 with Ray Porter. Restore the Snyderverse isn't about canceling any DC films. It's continuing Snyder's vision alongside other DC films. And even Ray Porter responded and was like, this, which is exactly what people miss about the Restore the Snyderverse thing. We're not saying, like, we don't want Like we're not saying like don't do Suicide Squad, don't do, all these, these other movies, don't do Blue Beetle, don't do Zatanna. We're not saying that. We're not saying not to do those movies. We're saying like, yes, put those movies out there. But then can you also continue what Zack Snyder started too? And I think that the studio responds in a way that they're like, oh, well, it's just toxic fans, so we're not gonna do that. No, it's not. Zack Snyder gets all the DC heroes right. Yeah, I agree. And that's why I think they're scared that like if they do their own thing on the side and then Zack Snyder has his stuff, they know what people are going to prefer, and they don't want to look like that. They don't want to look like they're losing that battle, because that's already how they look with the theatrical version of Justice League and the Snyder Cut. They already look like that. And so that's what they're afraid of continuing, I think. They're afraid that they're going to continue to look like they're losing that battle between what Zack Snyder's putting out and what they want to put out on their own, instead of just embracing what Zack Snyder started and continuing it. It's very strange. Yeah, I agree. I enjoyed, Paz Redsky says, I enjoyed the first Wonder Woman, but Diana and Wonder Woman 84 and Zack Snyder are worlds apart. They really are. To me, Zack's Diana felt more like the one Wonder Woman that we saw in the first Wonder Woman movie. It was very different in Wonder Woman 84. Excuse me, sorry. It was very different in Wonder Woman 84. It's kind of like a side story in her journey. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty different. It is pretty different. It's not a terrible movie by any means. There are problems with it, and I do definitely prefer, the Snyder Cut version of Wonder Woman and the BVS version of her. And even the Wonder Woman, like you said, the Wonder Woman origin movie, I love that movie. And Wonder Woman 84 took a very different turn. So they do feel kind of disjointed for her character. Hey, Brandon, what's up? Nice to see you. Glad you're here. Marvel-ish DC is worse. Yeah, exactly. I don't understand why they think that just because they're in the same genre that they can do the same things. They have very different characters. DC characters are very godlike. They have gods for their Justice League. I mean, just within the Justice League, Batman is the only one that's not a super powered being. So, like the main characters of the Justice League. I mean, and that's just like the main big characters. So, hello, Eduardo. Hello. Thanks for being here. So that's just within those characters. The main Avengers characters are not like that. Some of them, yeah, you have like Hulk, Captain America's a super soldier, Thor is the most like, in the main characters, he's like the most godly character. And Scarlet Witch, I mean, Wanda, we have seen how powerful she is. And there's Vision, but they haven't done enough with him, in my opinion. They could have done so much more with him for being such a powerful character. I wish they would have. But like those, like Wanda, Thor, Hulk, they're very powerful. Thor and Scarlet Witch are like godlike characters in a way. Well, especially Thor. But overall, they're not godlike characters compared to DC has gods. They can't treat them the same way. And that's what Marvel is trying to do. That doesn't work. It's kind of just like, just because they're in the same genre doesn't mean they have to be treated the same way. It's just like, is every comedy movie the same? No, just because they're a comedy and they make you laugh, they're not all the same. Are all rom-coms the exact same? No, they might follow a similar pattern of like, what you expect from a rom-com, but they're not the same characters. They're not the same story. You can't, no. They cannot be treated the same, and they shouldn't be treated the same. Marvel is embracing what they have to offer, and they're doing it. DC, Warner Brothers, is like refusing to embrace what they have to offer. That's different from Marvel. Like any brand that's trying to come, like say you're a new brand or whatever. Haven't they ever seen Shark Tank? What's the one thing they always ask them? What makes you different? What makes you different from the competition? What makes you stand out? That's what they need to think. Like, what makes us different? What makes us stand out? Okay, this is what makes us different. This is what we should embrace and use to our advantage. Like, instead, they want to water it down and, like, no, we need to be more like them. No, let them do them and you do what you are good at, And I think that's why when they first came out with the multiverse concept, everyone was like, hey, this is a good thing because there's a lot to do with that. But instead, they're kind of just using it as an excuse. And I don't know why they even said that to begin with. It's they're two totally different worlds. So they should not be trying to treat them the same as what Marvel is doing. And it's also weird that, like, business-wise, they don't want to continue what people are responding to the most. They kind of like want to force us to adapt to what they want to do instead of like just continuing what is actually working. Ernie said, Marvel is essentially humans dealing with godly issues. DC is gods being humanized while dealing with god level ish. Yeah, exactly. That's what Zack Snyder was trying to do by deconstructing Superman. Batman's not a godlike character, but he still deconstructed him. By deconstructing Superman, it shows he's kind of, puts him in a real world and explores what kind of challenges this kind of being would have, and not just that being, not just Superman, but also how the world would respond to a being like this. And I think he did an amazing job with that. In BVS, we see, what would it really be like? The world wouldn't just be like, oh yeah, come on in. Like, no, of course there would be controversy about him. The Flash movie, I do feel bad about the Flash movie because I feel bad for the Muschiettis, Andy and Barbara Muschietti. I feel bad for them because I feel like this movie has been just doomed from the start. Like, I feel like it's one step forward, two steps back with that movie. Just was one problem after another. I feel bad for them. Thiago Ali, did you like the humor in the Justice League? Are you referring to the Snyder cut of Justice League? If you're referring to Zack Snyder's Justice League, then yes, I did. Because it wasn't forced. It wasn't over the top. It wasn't like too much. It was appropriate. It was balanced. So yes, if you're referring to the theatrical version, then no. But in Zack Snyder's version, yes, I did. And it also surprised me that, like, Zack Snyder's version of the film, it has a lot of levity and humor. It does. Like I said, it's balanced. It's not forced. It's not overdone. But there is levity and humor in this movie. So he did that, but it wasn't enough for the studio. Like, it's weird. It's dumb, is what it is. There's only one Justice League. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I just wanted to clarify and make sure. But yeah, that's a good point. JBS Outlet. Yeah, natural humor and worked well. Yeah, exactly. And it was still, Flash was still a lot. He still was a lot of the humor, but at the same time, it didn't ruin his character. Like in the theatrical version, he was made like, the comedic relief, but they made him like annoying. And a lot of people didn't like his character, because they made him like kind of annoying. They dumbed him down. In Snyder's version, he still is, a comedic character, but he's very important. He's shown to be intelligent, emotional, so it doesn't ruin his character. Aquaman still has his own version of humor too, when, he's pointing at Flash for knocking him out when Superman dodges the Flash. So the humor is very appropriate, for sure. Oh, thank you for asking. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, wrong one. Super fan. They're good. They are laying down right now, but thank you for asking. And they love Zack Snyder's Justice League. They really do. I'm afraid of what WB wants to use the Flash movie for. Yeah, I think a lot of people are concerned about that too. A lot of people are thinking that the Flash movie is going to be like a reset button for the DCEU. Barbara Muschietti kind of said, like, it kind of resets certain things certain things, but it doesn't erase what has happened. So I think that's important to keep in mind. But I think at this point, people are nervous and worried because of the stuff that Warner Brothers is the way they're reacting. So I think people are kind of worried about that too. Epicness reaches the perfection with Zack Snyder when Zack does the direction. Yeah, exactly. And I was saying last night on the Four Nerds, no, I think I said it when we were talking privately after the show, that Netflix was obviously interested in buying the Snyder Cut from Warner Brothers, like 2 years ago, maybe. But Warner Brothers said no. And a part of me wishes that they would have sold it to Netflix, because I feel like they would have felt the loss if they had sold it to Netflix. I don't know how much Netflix was willing to offer them, but I'm sure they were willing. Obviously, Netflix saw the value in the Snyder Cut based on this release of Snyder Cut movement, right? Obviously, they saw the value in that. And, based on what they have done for Zack with Army of the Dead and the spinoff show, the spinoff animated series, the spinoff movie, the spinoff animated series, based on the way he's described working with them, they've given him creative freedom. They've been very supportive of his vision. They immediately wanted to know what else he could do with that world. Based on that, I think they would have been more than willing to fund him to complete the Snyder Cut. And I feel like, if Netflix had a property like that, it would have been, it's reaching a lot of people right now on different platforms, because HBO Max is not everywhere, but it's reaching people on different platforms around the world. If Netflix had that, oh my God, it would have reached so many people. And I think Warner Brothers would have really felt like they made a huge mistake. And I kind of wish that would have happened. But at the same time, I'm very happy we have it on HBO Max. So, Imad said, what do you think of the rumors that Michael Keaton possibly left the Flash movie? He said, there was a quote from him in an article that he said, somewhere on an iPad, I have a script. And I'm not sure with what's going on in my life right now if I can do it or not. We'll have to see. It didn't seem like he was super invested in it based on that quote. I do think it's possible that he might not be in it. I personally don't think it's necessary for him to be in it. Like, I really don't. Like, nothing against him as Batman. I think everyone's always going to have respect and reverence for him as Batman, just like with Christopher Reeves, but I don't think it's necessary for him to be in the Flash movie, though. I really don't. Let's see. So Netflix wanted it. Yeah, Netflix wanted to buy it. And like I said, based on Zack and Deborah's description of, their experience working with them, I hope they continue. I hope Zack and Deborah continue to do more projects with Netflix, because it seems like it's been like a polar opposite experience working with Netflix compared to Warner Brothers. Yeah. So let's see. Lloyd said you have to go, but it's always fun to join your live streams. Thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Yeah, and then I think if Ray Fisher is not in the Flash, like, a lot of people are just losing interest in it. Billy Crudup is no longer, Henry Allen, because he had scheduling conflicts. Because this movie should have been out like 2 years ago, the Flash movie, I think 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Should have been out a long time ago. So much has happened with it. What's up, Kimmy Lil? Thanks for being here. Let me see. There was another comment I was going to click on. Bruce Wayne having a relationship with Lois Lane, that's an interesting but weird theory. Yeah, the way Zack had described, that really caught me off guard in that Vanity Fair article. I would have never seen that coming, for Zack to have that idea. I think that would have probably triggered a lot of people. I think a lot of fans wouldn't have liked that. The way Zack described it, it kind of made sense, like what his thought process was about it. But, you know, and Zack is kind of like, I mean, he kind of likes to do things that make people a little bit uncomfortable and like catch people off guard and do unexpected things. But I do think a lot of people would have been like, no, please don't do that. I think that would have been a controversial decision for sure. Let's see. Yeah, Alexander the Great. Yeah, we'll see if he. Oh no, I think it's actually supposed to be a King Arthur movie, not Alexander the Great. But anything like that would be pretty interesting for Zack to do. Like I said, I hope he continues to do projects with Netflix because it seems like they have a good relationship. Ron Livingston is a good secondary option to play Barry's father. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to knock the guy who they recast to play Henry Allen or anything like that. But it's hard to see now that, especially now that we have seen Zack Snyder's Justice League and we see the dynamic between Barry and his father and how important it is. It's hard to see another person take that role, especially such an important role. And it's hard. It's hard to do that. When people are, I know we only saw him in one movie with Barry Allen together, but it's just, you're like, wow, Billy Crudup was such a great choice. I'm not saying Ron Livingston's a bad choice. I'm just saying it's hard to see that. It is hard. It's hard to do that. It's difficult, in my opinion. Maybe they're going to show Lois having a Bats baby. No, no, they're not. Zack just said that was an idea. It's not what's actually happening in the film. Okay, spoiler alert. Yes, we found out Zack Snyder's Justice League that Lois is pregnant, right? But it's Clark's baby. It's not Bruce's baby. That was just an idea that Zack had at one time. It's not what's actually happening in the universe. So I'm getting less excited about The Flash every day. And I think a lot of people's momentum is declining for the Flash movie, unfortunately. I do. I think the idea was they get together while Superman was dead, so it's not cheating, but yeah, it was supposed to be like this idea of Bruce kind of finds comfort in Lois, and he feels like she helps him gain his confidence that he could be more than just this guy living in a cave. He's never had a life outside the cave. He's described it like, and that she makes him feel like he could reach this goal of like putting this team together and, being a person that he's never been before. And so that's kind of the effect that she would have had on him. But Zack said that she's still in love with Superman. And so, that's how that would have been. But it was just an idea. It's not actually, people kind of freaked out. Like, yeah, she's pregnant in Zack Snyder's Justice League, but it's Clark's baby. It's not Bruce's. When Zack has success at Netflix, WB will beg for him. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wish they could have seen the success at Netflix, which I think they will too, because Army of the Dead's going to be on Netflix and all of that. But, still. Streaming for an hour. Yeah, it's gone by pretty fast. Streaming for an hour. It has gone by pretty quick. When you're talking about this stuff, time goes by, But another thing, which film do you think should conclude the DCEU? Well, I wish I would. My ultimate hope would be that Zack could just complete the arc that he had in mind. A few Justice League movies. I want to see more Henry Cavill stuff for sure. But, that's my ultimate hope, is that we get to see Zack's stuff continue on HBO Max in one way or another. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Superfan. I appreciate that. That's nice of you to say. There was another thing on Twitter that Zack, I'm not going to play it, I'm sorry. The We Live in a Society clip that Zack shared on Twitter, and I think it's probably on Vero too. But I'm not going to play it because I think it's probably going to get copyrighted. Henry's only Superman. Yeah, I agree. Let me pause it. So Zack did share this, We Live in a Society. Hold on just a second. He explained, this is an alternate dialogue that they shot with Joker and Batman. We heard, of course, the release. Of course, we heard the, We Live in a Society line in the trailer. Everyone lost their mind about that line, but it wasn't in the film. And then people were kind of like, well, what happened to that line, right? Well, Zack had come out and explained later on in an interview that it was an alternate piece of dialogue. It was Jared Leto's idea. He wanted to throw it in there. And of course, Zack, being the awesome director that he is, he's like, hey, yeah, go for it. Try it out. We'll see how it goes. And they both liked it. But ultimately they decided that what they put in Zack Snyder's Justice League, what they ended up going with was a more appropriate response to what Bruce says to Joker. But Zack did share this. I like what he said. We live in a society where you can watch Zack Snyder's Justice League on HBO Max. And he also shared the link to the t-shirt that Jared Leto made that says we live in a society, and half of the proceeds go to AFSP. So he shared that as well. And it's turn my fan off, please. It's interesting. I mean, Batman's dialogue is pretty much the same as what we see in the film. What's up, the Count? Actually probably going to be wrapping it up soon, but thanks for stopping by anyway. It's interesting that, Joker kind of says after Batman gives his little speech about, Harley Quinn dying and telling the Joker that he is going to kill him eventually. Excuse me. I am going to honor that promise is what he says. Then Joker kind of comes in with this, we live in a society where honor is a distant memory and stuff like that. And then he has a line where he says I wonder who screamed louder, the boy or the girl. And he's referring to Robin or Harley because obviously Joker killed Robin. And it seems like Batman killed Harley based on the way he's talking about her dying in his arms and stuff. I don't know why else Harley would be dying in his arms if he didn't do that to her. So, I kind of like both. I like both versions of the dialogue. I like the one we got in the film. I like the one here. We live in a society. If you haven't seen it yet, let me see if it's on Zack's Vero. I imagine it would be because he shares pretty much everything on there. But it is on Twitter if you're on Twitter. And I think I've seen it, people sharing it on Instagram too. Sorry. Yes, it is on his Vero. Okay. And like I said, I've seen it floating. I think people have been posting on Instagram and stuff too. So they are really, trying to one up each other and keep jabbing each other during this back and forth thing between them. And so I like both. I like both versions of the dialogue that we got. And I'm not surprised that Zack shared it. I mean, he knows that people liked the excuse me. He knows that people liked the We Live in a Society thing from the trailer, so I'm not surprised that he decided to share it. I'm glad he did. It's pretty cool that he put it out there for people to see. I know, he knows people wanted to hear what he had, what that alternate version of dialogue sounded like. There was something. If he wasn't interested in returning, why would he bother sending mixed messages? Yeah, talking about going back to the granny goodness thing that we talked about earlier, the concept art. Yeah, I do think Zack is pretty smart about how he decides and when he decides to share certain things. Also, Dave the Film Junkie was saying on his recent live stream too that there are good things happening, so don't give up on this. Don't be negative, stay positive about it. Stay positive. It's not ending. It's not over. And, I trust him when he says that. So that's also a positive sign as well. So that'd be pretty awesome. So yeah, I do think he is, he knows how to play his game. He knows how to play his cards, telling them like, I cast my guy, you cast yours. And, not being paid to finish the Snyder cut, which, I mean, moving forward, he would have to be paid to do new projects. But like he said, it helped him, maintain a good relationship with these people not getting paid to do it. And so, yeah, he's a genius, for sure. But let me see. Let me just take a few more questions before we're approaching the 1.5 hour mark. Thank you to those of you who have stuck around and joined the live stream. I do appreciate it. Keep supporting Restore the Snyderverse. Keep watching Zack Snyder's Justice League. Even Zack has, again, encouraged us that that's very important. That's the key to getting this thing to continue. So keep doing that. It is important. No, wait, where'd it go? Yeah, I want more DC content. That's it. Yeah. Excuse me. And that's, I think, what we were talking about earlier. We're not saying to not do other DC stuff. We're just saying do both. There's no reason that they shouldn't be able to do both is what, the whole thing is. And so, just, keep your faith in Zack. Oh, thank you, Mike, for this subscription. Thank you for joining into the live stream. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for the support on the channel. I really do appreciate it. And just as a reminder, the link to my merch is in the description below. Joggers, hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, a couple coffee mugs, some face masks, some stickers. Go ahead and check that out if you're interested. Again, thank you to those of you who stuck around for the live stream and, got involved in the discussion, the chat, super chats. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. And check out the channel for any videos that you might have missed. And yeah, thank you guys for all the support. And we will